this picture is going viral, and for good reason. Bria Hartley's sinister grin, caught at the exact moment Sophie Cunningham was being carried off the court, has become the image that defines one of the most explosive controversies of the WNBA season. A star player writhing in pain, her season hanging in the balance, and right there in the background, a smirk that fans interpreted not as concern, but as mockery. Was it just bad timing? Or did Hartley's expression reveal something far darker about her intentions? Either way, the damage was done. The Fever fanbase erupted, accusations of dirty play piled up, and the league itself was once again left scrambling to explain why its biggest stars keep getting hurt with little accountability.
It's sad. It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here.
It started innocently enough, or at least it looked that way in real time. Second quarter, Bria Hartley pushed through traffic and drove toward the basket. Cunningham stepped over to help. Then came the brutal moment. Hartley's momentum crashed straight into Sophie's right leg. In an instant, Cunningham's body crumpled. She reached down for her knee, grimacing in pain, and then collapsed completely onto the hardwood. The crowd fell silent as trainers sprinted out. Sophie tried to sit up once, then fell back down, clutching her knee again, unable to stand without help. It wasn't just a routine knock. It looked serious. Within minutes, the announcement came. She would not return. Her night over. For Fever fans, that was the moment their stomachs dropped. Already missing Caitlin Clark and multiple other key players, losing Cunningham too felt like the season slipping away. But it wasn't just the injury itself that set off a firestorm. It was everything that happened and didn't happen in the moments that followed.
So we're gonna start right here, y'all. We're gonna start right here. This picture is going viral with Bria Hartley with the sinister grin, right? This malevolent look that's on her face right now. Clearly smiling after injuring Sophie Cunningham.
Here's what enraged fans more than anything. The referees didn't even review the play. Cunningham lay on the ground, clutching her knee in obvious pain, and the game just moved on. No flagrant, no technical, not even a serious look at what happened. Social media exploded within minutes. Fans weren't just angry at Hartley. They were furious at the league for once again failing to protect its stars. And this wasn't just random noise from Twitter trolls. Cunningham's own family jumped into the fight. Her sister Lindsay blasted the officiating, pointing out the WNBA's habit of fining players when they complain about referees while ignoring inconsistent calls. Her mother went even further, accusing Hartley of being out of control. Though she later deleted the post, the frustration echoed what every Fever fan was already screaming. The message was clear. The WNBA was letting another dangerous play slide.
Sophie Cunningham, oh man, I gotta tell you, this victory, it came with a big price. Bria Hartley, let me just start there because we've got Sophie Cunningham's sister and mother weighing in on the league, and Bria Hartley right here. This is Hartley right here coming in. And she crushes in on the knee of Sophie right here.
But then came the photo. The viral image that turned an ugly collision into an outright scandal. Cameras caught Hartley, moments after the play, with what looked like a grin on her face as Cunningham was being helped off the floor. That one frame changed the entire narrative. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a reckless collision. To fans, it looked like Hartley laughing as Sophie's season slipped away. Intentional or not, perception is everything, and the perception was brutal. Clipped, screenshotted, and shared thousands of times, Hartley's smirk became the centerpiece of the outrage. Analysts said it crystallized what many already suspected, that this wasn't an accident at all. If it had been another player with a clean reputation, maybe people would have given her the benefit of the doubt. But Bria Hartley wasn't starting from scratch. She already had a long list of questionable incidents trailing behind her, and fans lined them up like receipts.
This damn dump. This turd known as the WNBA, they just can't seem to get out of their own way. This concept should be simple to understand. Every other league seems to understand this. There are star players and there are role players, or in the case of the WNBA, there are 1 or 2 players that people are willing to pay to see, and the rest of this league is filled with unknown extras. They're the people in the background smiling, waving to mom anytime they are briefly shown on camera. Look at me, Mom, I'm on the TV!
This wasn't the first time Hartley found herself at the center of controversy. Earlier this season, she was caught yanking Angel Reese's hair during a rebound battle, igniting chaos between benches. In another game, she got tangled with Rebecca Allen, an altercation that ended with her ejection. And there have been dust-ups with Skylar Diggins and others, each one leaving the impression that Hartley wasn't just physical. She was reckless. None of these incidents alone might define a career, but strung together, they paint a pattern. And when Sophie Cunningham went down, fans didn't see a one-off collision. They saw the latest chapter in what they already believed was a long record of dirty play. So when the cameras showed Hartley smiling as Sophie limped away, it didn't matter if it was adrenaline, frustration, or just bad optics. People connected it to her past, and the verdict was swift. Bria Hartley is the dirtiest player in the WNBA.
But Bria Hartley has had dirty plays all season. But you got to know who we're talking about. Bria Hartley is the same girl. Bria Hartley is the same woman that pulled Angel Reese out of there by her ponytail. This is the same woman we're talking about. Better yet, I'm going to show y'all Bria Hartley because you need to be able to see who we're talking about. You need to be able to see who it is. She is a dirty, dirty player.
The outrage didn't stay on the court. Fans flooded social platforms, calling Hartley every name in the book. Some labeled her the villain of the league. Others went further, demanding suspensions and investigations. Clips from her past incidents resurfaced alongside the viral smirk, building a case that Hartley gets away with reckless behavior because the league won't crack down. Analysts piled on too. On air and in print, commentators connected the dots between Hartley's past and Cunningham's injury, suggesting the league had no choice but to act. The consensus? Hartley's smirk wasn't just poor judgment. It was the tipping point that turned suspicion into outrage.
Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty, dirty player. And if y'all go to my video last night, you will see me saying, watch out for Bria Hartley because she's a dirty ass player.
For the Indiana Fever, the timing couldn't have been worse. Already without Caitlin Clark due to a groin injury, plus Arie McDonald and Sydney Colson lost for the season, Cunningham's exit gutted what was left of their backcourt depth. This wasn't just about losing points on the scoreboard. Sophie brought toughness, leadership, and energy that helped hold the team together. Without her, the Fever looked like a ship taking on water fast. Playoff hopes that were shaky already now seemed ready to collapse entirely. And yet, that's not where the story ended. Because what came next turned one of the ugliest nights in Fever history into one of their proudest.
There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
Down 21 points in the third quarter against one of the most physical teams in the league, the Fever's season looked finished. But Kelsey Mitchell had other ideas. Quiet in the first half with just 4 points, Mitchell exploded after the break. She dropped 34 points in the second half and overtime, finishing with 38 total, tying her career high and marking the highest scoring game in the WNBA this year. Stepbacks, drives, free throws, three-pointers. She hit everything when her team needed it most. In overtime alone, she scored Indiana's first 10 points, leaving the Connecticut Sun stunned. But she wasn't alone. Aaliyah Boston delivered a monster double-double. 14 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, plus steals and blocks. She controlled the paint and kept possessions alive when the game could have unraveled. Odyssey Sims stepped in as floor general, racking up 19 points and 7 assists, stabilizing the offense without Clark or Cunningham. And then, in overtime, Lexi Hull nailed a clutch 3 from the corner, the dagger that sealed the largest comeback in franchise history. From a team on the verge of collapse to a team writing history, the Fever flipped the script in the most dramatic way possible. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard showed the Fever's improbable 99-93 win. But the real story unfolded in the locker room. Coach Stephanie White, still emotional from what she had just witnessed, told her players this was the definition of grit. "We will never be counted out," she said, her voice breaking. The words carried weight not just because of the comeback, but because they had lost so much already. Even stars who weren't there joined in. Caitlin Clark, out with her own injury, tweeted simply, "Battled, battled, battled, so proud." Sophie Cunningham from the locker room posted Kelsey freaking Mitchell, showing pride in her teammate even as her own future was uncertain. And Sydney Colson, sidelined for the year, cracked a joke that went viral. "We down to 4 players, but fey it, we ball." That mix of pride, humor, and resilience told the real story. A team refusing to fold when everything around them screamed collapse. And that's where this story zooms out. Because while the Fever proved their resilience, the league's problems only grew larger. Fans aren't just calling for Hartley's suspension, they're calling for accountability from WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. This isn't just about one injury. It's a pattern. Caitlin Clark sidelined by repeated hits, Sophie Cunningham now down, and other stars targeted by reckless play while referees swallow their whistles. Meanwhile, the league stays silent. The WNBA is enjoying its biggest surge in visibility in years, but that momentum is fragile. If the league's brightest stars keep getting injured and the public sees officials and leadership doing nothing, it risks all the progress made. Fans have already started to tune out, frustrated by what they see as jealousy-driven fouls, reckless behavior, and no protection for the players who drive ratings. Engelbert's silence sends the wrong message, that the league will protect reputations before it protects its stars. And for a sport finally breaking into mainstream relevance, that's a dangerous game. So here's the bottom line. Bria Hartley's collision with Sophie Cunningham could have been remembered as an ugly accident, but her smirk, her history, and the league's silence turned it into something much bigger. A moment that crystallized every fear fans have about accountability, fairness, and the protection of their stars. Now the WNBA faces a choice. Do they finally send a message, suspending Hartley and making clear that reckless play won't be tolerated? Or do they let it slide again, risking not just the health of players, but the trust of fans who are tired of watching their favorites get targeted without consequence? Because here's the truth. Without stars like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and others, the league has nothing. And if that message doesn't land immediately, the WNBA's brightest moment could also become its breaking point. So what do you think? Was Hartley's grin just bad optics or proof of something sinister? Should she be suspended or even banned if this pattern continues? And most importantly, can the WNBA survive if it keeps letting its stars get targeted without protection? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to The Caitlin Clark Show, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. This story isn't finished, and you won't want to miss what happens next.